Yeah, the camera only works on this. Not necessarily in the business, but I just stream and play the game. Just enjoy myself. When he comes in the chat, he comes in the chat. That's it.
Attacking the core.
I gotta start doing what I love to do. Every time I get sad about shit. Really, I'm just tired of people disrespecting me. That's all. For the people who legitly fuck with me, and really genuinely does, that's cool. That's what's up. I like that. Keep that up. And anybody who just goes around here using me for an agenda or a game, or using me as a guinea pig to get themselves expeditiously.
Plunge lance and device through their hearts.
Device to email again. I need it.
Looking good for us. This fight's already won. I knew you had it in you.
That's bronze level. There's no coldness. I love my gun. I left my other jacket with my friend's place. I'm gonna pick up later after.
I knew you had it in you.
I'm gonna pick that a little bit later. I'm gonna take this off. The AC is not on right now. And there it goes. See where I want to go.
So, what's that? The core's as good as gone.
I'll take care of that one.
You know, pick it up a little later though. Not worried about it. The usual blackjack that I have, I'm doing with that.
Attacking the core. Cut that core in half.
I'm only playing this because Final Fantasy released the Magic set. And the only thing I got was a Vincent. So I got the common Vincent in the glass case right next to my custom Play Arts regular Avid Children Vincent. It's actually one of the best selling sets so far though, next to the Pokemon sets. So, it's cool. It's good. But I'm gonna wait till it goes down. It's gonna go down because fear of missing out thing's not even a real thing. That's how come I didn't get me a commander deck. Because one day Walmart's gonna have those Final Fantasy commander decks for less than the price when something else comes out. And not only that, but I gotta build a black deck if I'm gonna use any of the defensive cards in the deck. If I'm gonna use any of the defensive cards in the deck, it's gotta be black. All the cards gotta be black. Or at least have black support. Probably black and red so I can have that red Vincent. So it'd probably be red and black deck. Like a regular Chaos deck back in the day. I'd say back in the day, but like 2012 Magic the Gathering.
I finally found my way.
Yeah, that's why I'm playing DISSIDA.
Appreciate it. I owe ya.
Let's see, you only been on this end, yeah. Go here. No, go.
Hey,
So, what's up?
the core's as good as gone. Leave some gaps.
When life gives you lemons, squeeze them dry.
You know, the girl that I wanted to talk to at the gym, she's not there. And I've been like, I don't know, 3 times. I mean, I guess that I shouldn't complain. I am getting a good workout going multiple times, you know, during the week and weekend, so it's not so bad on that. I think it's probably she's got wind of someone, a troll or defector or whatever, said whatever, I don't know how. It's whoever's doing that, you have a sad life, bro. You're doing that stuff to me. You got a pathetic life to do that. Like, you gotta spend all day doing that, but not all day cleaning your room, not all day going to work and being employed, you know, or going to the gym yourself and working out, you know. Pretty sad to do that.
This calls for a summoning.
It's funny, my trolls tell me I need to go talk to real women. I go talk to real women. Then they find out I talk to the set real woman. And they go find whatever social media she has or whatever, and I tell her something about it, and then they're gone. I'm not stupid. I know it's a few people that follow me. I know it is because people I know it is. It's just, haha, that's very funny, buddy. Very funny. You know what's better than that? It's called jobification. I don't want to fill one out. You know.
That one exactly like
And then use the money you get from that to get a gym membership. You'd be too busy to go online and fuck with streamers. You'd be too busy.
I knew you had it in
I'm not mad at that. And it might not even be that. It might be just that the girl at the gym only goes weekdays. It just means that, you know, I need to be hungry enough to, besides the days I go to my DBZ card tournament or any other, you know, business or chore days, you know, that if I don't have to do any of that stuff and just, you know, go to the gym. So I just gotta be more hungry, and that's fine. I'm gonna be more hungry. I'm gonna be a hungry wolf. I'm only doing this streaming stuff because really, I just need to do something to increase serotonin and dopamine right now. Just right now, my feelings not going a lot. My feelings is kind of low. But whoever went back and told so and so, or caused any interference in my real life, you're indefinitely in ban until I decide you're okay. Because it's like, that's not okay to do. It's one thing to go and insult me, make fun of my shape, make fun of my head shape, or how tall I am, or I got action figures inside of a glass case, or whatever, have a point, or how my living situation. But I'm not going to have anyone come into my real life and try to, you know, fuck with it in real life. That's just, I don't do that shit. I don't play that. And if you're doing that, like I said, that's really sad and pathetic. It's like, to call me a lolcow, but you're acting like a lolcow because that's terminally online behavior. I gotta be honest. to go to someone else, I mean, whoever stream you're watching at the point, and go and try to interfere with their real life. That's some parasocial shit, bud. That's some parasocial shit. That's like going to a Hollywood celebrity real life. You know, maybe they've been in a movie that you don't like, or you know, you have a crush on a celebrity. A celebrity's dating or marrying somebody, or married to somebody else. Then you go up there and fuck with their real life because they're married to somebody else. Like, do you not see why all that time could have been spent to working out or getting a job? I'm just saying. You could have put that in some other form of creativity. That's just the set. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't be venting, but I'm gonna be honest. That's why I don't. I think people that are. I think people that are those kind of trolls. If you want to just put some insults and make fun of someone the way they look, you shouldn't do that. It's stupid. You know, waste of time. But it can be ignored. Going out of your way to fuck with someone and by fucking stuff in the real life, that's the most parasocial thing I've ever seen, bud. Irregardless of what someone says or does. Look, the one time I agreed with Bronny Radke on anything is when someone made a catfish profile of his to get with Tommy Lee's girlfriend Brittany Furlong. Only because that's not the real Bronny, and that's disgusting to do that. You know, because the person who is the fake profile gets in trouble. Unless the person, gets caught making the fake profile. And that's just real fucked up to do that. There was no reason to do that. And, these days I really don't care much for Ron Radke. But someone making a catfish profile to mess with his life, you are a loser. I'm gonna be honest. You're probably worse. I mean, it's the same thing with the kind of people that, like, I watch Low Tier God, some of his stuff, and yeah, he says some outrageous stuff. I'm not gonna lie, he says some pretty crazy stuff that I think he should have no business saying. But to go out of your way to mess with this man in real life, that's like, okay, bud. Now you get to the level. Now you get to the level stalker. You need help. You're getting to a level that's like, oh, okay, bud. All right, buddy. It's like that's a no.
I shall answer your threats against
That's a no from me. That's a no. It's a hard no. I think he could probably mute the mic every time he's on, like, Mortal Kombat or something like that, so no one can see. But it's like the people that go out of his way to mess with his real life because of the crazy things he say, I disagree with that. E-platforming does not mean go and harass and stalk people and mess with them with their real life. That's where I'm like, okay, then at that point, you lost the plot. You lost the high ground. If you get someone banned for doing something they shouldn't do, that's a different thing. If someone's actually legitimately saying some racial slurs or something, they should get banned, 100%. But banned, not stalked and harassed in real life. That's where that's where the message gets lost. That everyone's so bloodthirsty and radical, they just cannot wait to get someone's life like that. And it's very sick. It's a sickness in there. It's a self-righteous type of thing that we got going on. But that's all I gotta say about that. It's like whoever is going around here telling anybody anything to get me in trouble. If I find out you do it, you're gonna get a lifetime ban. That's not cool at all. It's parasocial. It's not healthy. In fact, it also robs you. It robs you of a decent life. You could be doing something good for yourself. You could be making life happen for yourself. So you're robbing yourself when you do that. You know, don't be parasocial.
Appreciate it.
You know, don't be the parasocial that has a crush on people that's obviously you're never gonna meet. Don't be the parasocial that goes around here trying to come at someone because you either disagree with what they say or you just don't like somebody. You know. That's all. That's all on that. I'm done speaking on the thing. I want to talk about Magic since the Magic sets came out. I'm gonna change my party a little bit. Lightning. Yeah. Let's go up one by one. That's how my skills come back.
This shall be my greatest performance.
I don't think that's going on.
Or else.
I think really it's just
May this alliance be
I just need to keep going more. Or find someone to fawn over at the gym. Just now I know just be confident and go over and say hi. I don't think I'm gonna have too much of a problem. The reason why I'm like this is I do have some parasocial trolls that will go and mess things up on purpose because it's funny. And I'm sorry that people like that exist. You shouldn't do nothing else with your life except obsess over other people. That's crazy.
Credit to the team.
And then I'd have an argument with a female friend I've been friends with for a long time, so that's kind of why my mood's kind of down. I feel like shit, honestly.
Ready to summon.
Plunge Lance's device through their hearts.
All because I was being serious about something and she laughed at something I was being serious about. So that hurt my feelings. I'm gonna be honest, that hurt my feelings really badly. Enough about the dark, depressing shit. And then the set came out, and the sale it's decent. I don't think $70 decent for like a commander deck, but I would at least give a good $45 to this set. Maybe a good $50. Because you do get dice, you get tokens, you get, you even get a rule book how to play Final Fantasy Commander. I think I'll probably just buy the starter next. It's $25. Starter set's $25 because I think the Sephiroth's gonna be the only card I can use because I need black. I need a black. I need a black, thing going on for the deck.
You put up a
Because the Vincents are, all the Vincents are red and black. So I need more stuff of that. Hopefully they come out with the Final Fantasy Commander that's just a red, or a black, actually a black leader one. I don't know what the 14 looks like, and maybe that's the 14 I need to get. I don't know. I haven't done enough research. I kept myself unspoiled.
Well, gotta step up my game now.
Let's see my break rate. I'm assuming it's powerful. Take it down.
You're a credit to the team.
Just getting started.
Ready to summon.
Sings our praises. Come on, bring the summon. Orange lance a device through their hearts.
The packs are $30. $35, I think, for one single pack of. And that's, I think it's the collector's boosters. I think the play boosters are a little bit less than that. I think play boosters are like $15. But it's not going to be no good if you're going to start at that base your stuff round. Especially if it's so expensive, but this set did just as good as the new Pokemon set that just came out. Until I can make that set, I only have the Vincent card. That's in the glass case right now. It's with my Vincent figure. So it's kind of a Final Fantasy League, made it be Crystal Bless You type of thing. Yeah.
You have my thanks.
We must fight as one if we hope to win.
Well, I guess they're streaming so. Probably get home. Yeah, I'm gonna go pick up my jacket. I'm gonna make sure they're home though. I was so busy watching WWE stuff. New set of matches. I think it's Raw Monday. I think it's Raw. No, it's Money in the Bank. That's what match. That's what event it is. Money in the Bank. Of course, Seth Rollins won that again. No surprise, as long as he's got that shot paying one dude by his side, he can't ever lose almost. But I think Triple H just getting replaced because people blame him for their terrible matches in Raw. And I gotta be honest, I haven't watched Russ since ever I watched wrestling to an extent of food brands or anything, but going back and watching clips of all the stuff that was done before Triple H took over
Ready to summon.
you know the brand. I don't know what
Sever their limbs
the
in a
other.
single blow.
I don't know what the other. The older shows look better from the clips I've seen versus these new ones. I don't know what's going on. It's nice to see Logan Paul and John Cena get their comeuppance.
Let's finish this. Has gone better.
That went exactly like I thought it would.
Very impressive.
You're a credit to the team.
I think we all are fighting. I can't remain trapped in an illusion. I can't go without my friends. I'm going to live my life without pretending.
I thirst for carnage.
Oh, it's the classic moon look in the AES game. That's what that skin's based off of, the classic one. From Gomez. That's cool. Still mad to get my Darwin sword. It was a pre-launch DLC. I still didn't get it to this day.
You're a credit to the team. I'll get the core. Let's finish this.
Assail these ingrates with endless bolts.
My thanks.
You put up a decent fight.
That was commendable.
You have my thanks.
It has every single Final Fantasy stuff though.
The core's as good as gold.
So it has everything, which is pretty cool. And it's not just only based on anything. You can make anything out of anything.
If we get our jobs done, this could
You just need the
be
same
as
colors. It's still Magic the Gathering at the end of the day. They sent us this second sun after set after the Pokemon Team Rocket.
I shall destroy the core.
It's called Return Glory of Team Rocket. The Destined Rivals.
Sorry.
I shall destroy the core.
Ready. I'll get the core.
Nice animation cancel. Nice animation cancel.
Lance a device through their hearts.
Oh, the spray.
Very impressive. Just getting started.
And down in dust.
On better.
There it goes. Defeated.
You put up
Defeated.
a decent fight.
Undisputed. Great.
Very impressive.
You're a credit to the team.
But that's really the reason why I'm playing this game, since the new Final Fantasy set comes out. It's easy to put in there rather than run the Final Fantasy stuff. I do have a lot. I still have 15, I have 16. I can get the classic Final Fantasy from the Pixel Collection. Then original 7, original 8, original 9, and then Remake and Rebirth, and then Crisis
Time
Core.
for a change of plans.
I wish I released 13 on here. That would be nice if they released
Doesn't
13.
matter
They
what they
did.
say, I am a knight.
So that's one of the things I want to do when I get a graphics card. Stream Final Fantasy 13. I thought Final Fantasy 13 was a decent Final Fantasy. And 13 too. You could skip Lightning's Return if you want to. Lightning Returns is just Majora's Mask with Final Fantasy. And it's extra convoluted. And what lore you could have got in Final Fantasy 13? I think Lightning's Return put too much lore to a point where now it's kind of hard to keep up. Because 13.2 built itself off of 13. Lightning Return made it complicated. But they wanted to have an ending to a story, so they had to have the one being that created all the foul seed be the final villain in 13.2. Okay, Lightning's Return. Fair enough.
Plunge Lance's device through their
Fair
hearts.
enough. I mean, if you defeat the guy who created the beings that created the problems in the universe, I guess that makes sense, but it's just one of those things. Kind of like how when Disney took over Star Wars, they added so much stuff to it, it made everything questionable. When there was already a good enough lore for everyone to absorb, especially if you read the novels. It wasn't necessary to watch a TV show or extra movies. But that's what Lightning Returns feels like.
I'm
I like the set pieces and stuff like that. They're very beautiful set pieces. Especially the sand Egyptian level, the dunes. I love the dunes. I like some levels. But I just felt like it added some unnecessary story beats to 13 that didn't need to be around. Rather than just be a part of the universe.
Swing that blade and chop him in half.
And I also like Lightning's costume in Lightning's Return. That's fire. Same thing with Snow's costume in Lightning's Return. But I just, like I said, I just think it was just an unnecessary add-in. And they say what you want about Dirge of Cerberus. At least Dirge of Cerberus still stayed close to the original to some degree. Like the Deep Ground Soldiers, they were always part of Shinra. We just never discovered Deep Ground because they were trapped under the Shinra building because they were too dangerous. They were so dangerous that President Shinra himself was afraid of them, and for good reasons, and should be. Especially if you played episode Yuffie and you fought Nero, you know, the Emperor Deep Ground's brother. So it didn't add too much unnecessary stuff. Chaos was over there. Omega being just another weapon that created the weapons in Final Fantasy VII. It pretty much stayed within its stuff. It didn't add any extra stuff that wasn't needed. Whether you like or hate Dirge of Cerberus. The only downside I will say is that it did put a lot of the Lucretia and Vincent flashbacks in inappropriate areas. I think it should have all been in Nibelheim. I think when you complete a section of the Nibelheim mansion, you get to see all of Vincent's memories in Nibelheim, rather than divided up into each thing. Like the final battle with Weiss. That should have been, to get to the final battle with Weiss, that should have just been a build-up to get over to where Weiss was. I didn't think we needed to pack it with what happened. I think the Nibelheim stuff could have stayed in the Nibelheim section. That's just my opinion. And that's my honest opinion. But other than that, I think that's what Dirge did right that Lightning Returns did. Let's get Hotness in here. Why not, since this music's getting playing? We'll do gold. But I thought Lightning's Return was there's too much lore and confused the world just a little bit. The only thing that stayed consistent was Benabelza was the one who created all the Fal'Cie. And all the hard problems in Final Fantasy 13 were because of Fal'Cie and stuff like that.
Keep your wits about you and we have naught to fear.
If you need to know what that means, it's Fal'Cie's the machine gods. The mechanical gods created by the divine god, which in Final Fantasy 13 is Benabelza. Benabelza is the divine god of all creation. But he's not so good himself because he wants to wipe out all of humanity, get rid of l'Cie, rebuilt the world without l'Cie because he didn't like how things turned out. And that's because Caius woke him up. When Caius did what he did in 13-2, he accidentally woke up Benabelza. So Benabelza, seeing the world become the way it was, it's kind of like Final Fantasy 16, where Ultima, disappeared for a little bit, then came back. And they got mad that people ain't worshipping him. Or Yu Yevon, but Yu Yevon I wouldn't consider a god. Yu Yevon in Final Fantasy X really is just a summoner who created the religion of Yevon itself, where you sacrifice, someone makes a sacrifice to the guardian that defeats sin, and that Guardian becomes Sin in the next reincarnation cycle. Just to keep people praying and believing the same faith. But that's the thing. In Final Fantasy, like I say, in Final Fantasy X, even that story was written better than Lightning's Return, because Lightning Returns, like, we didn't hear about Benavelza until Final Fantasy 13 too. And then if you wanted more lore and detail about who Benavelza was, you had to read the book with the Caius book, the Fragment book with Caius. So you had to read more books to find out a little bit more, which, okay, fine, you gotta sell the books too, you gotta sell every form of the media, fine, cool. Not everything could be explained in the game. Alright, cool. That's fine. That's A-okay. But when you add too many other factors, like how it's possible for Lightning to be in cryostasis, death, whatever, into 13-2. Yeah, Lightning comes back after 1,000 years. That's where I'm like, okay. And this is not even in the world of Pulse or any of those things. It's a custom world.
Time for a change of plans.
So no one's gonna know who the Final Fantasy 13 characters are. That you know, the Final Fantasy 13 characters have lived on that world for years. See, that's when too much lore is added. And I know they wanted to have a strong ending, and to the credit, Lightning's Return's ending was actually good. Everything got resolved. With Benavelza gone, no more fallacies could be created, so the Lessees and human beings could live in peace. But because Lightning defeated the god, she has to take the place of the god. That's why I'll say Lightning's Return failed in that respect. The only thing that got close to any part of lore in Final Fantasy 13 was that you fight the creator of all the fallacy as a final boss. But then, what created Benavelza? Or who created Benavelza? It's like the whole thing in Galactus and stuff like that in Marvel. That's like, then you wonder who created Galactus.
Awaken our servants.
Let's get to summoning.
Plunge Lance's device through their hearts.
It's one of those things that but it was just too much lore. This is where there's too much lore. If you create a different series altogether, that would be more acceptable. But I think there's probably concepts used for Versus 13 that they couldn't because they canceled Versus 13. Like Etro. Since Etro's the goddess of death. But 13-2, it was alright. It just really, you could just skip 13-2 and still get a good basis of Final Fantasy 13. I'm sorry, Lightning's Return. You want to play 13-2. Lightning's Return is what I'm saying you could go ahead and mint from your memory. And now if you're like a huge Final Fantasy fan like I am, I'd go ahead and play it, but otherwise it's just, yeah. It's just Majora's Mask with so much lore, hyper convoluted lore. You have to read a book, play 13-2. In fact, you can even skip regular 13 because, you know, Cocoon and all that stuff doesn't no longer exist now. So it is so convoluted. I'm telling you the truth. People that complain about Dirge being convoluted don't understand nothing. They don't understand shit. Even the Final Fantasy 15 DLCs that changed and retcon lore made more sense than Lightning's Return. I mean, if they would have made a game that was like, you know, Elden Ring Night Rain, which is a multiplayer, it don't even really matter. Lore is just put there to keep people that are only lore heads intrigued. But the most, the biggest, the biggest thing that needed to be put in that game was the multiplayer. The multiplayer is the only thing that's special about Night Flame. Lore is for people who wanted lore in it. That's when I'm like, then you can make a convoluted thing like that. Because a multiplayer is a thing. But if you're going to make a story-based game, I'd rather keep everything relatively simple. Or at least mention something in your first games that you don't ever mention until you want to make that last game.
We are overcome
Now
with
that
the
was a
friendly
match worth remembering.
You too.
Hope I can count on you.
Black materia.
But Lightning Returns is just too complicated for the story. You can go ahead and skip it if you need to.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
But Final Fantasy 13 and 13-2 are good. It's just Lightning Returns, you can go ahead and skip it if you want to.
That core's as good as dust.
And the only the other downside of the Dirge that I still love Dirge is I think instead of Hojo taking over Weiss should have been just the final villain. I think Weiss with Omega. It should have just been Weiss all this time. Instead of and I know why they brought back Hojo. They brought back Hojo because Sephiroth was such a hit. They're thinking, well, since Sephiroth bought a lot of money to have children, maybe let's bring that other guy that people recognize. You know that evil, crazy scientist that people hate in Final Fantasy VII? Let's bring him back. And that's when you're doing too much nostalgia. But even that, again, even with Hojo being involved with Weiss and stuff like that, is an easier to understand lore. Anything Lightning Return has put out there. Even Final Fantasy IV, the after years. And those are all different people's stories combined into one. Was more fluid than Lightning's Return.
Done better than expected.
Looks like I finally found my way.
You have done better than
Nice,
expected.
thanks.
I'm done. You thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'm done. If you do play Final Fantasy 13, play 13 and 13-2 only. I just strongly advise skipping Lightning's Return if you can help it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Gotta give it 110%.
The core is ours.
That core's as good as dust.
This is the best songs from. Oh, Pandemonium. Final Fantasy 2. Okay. I had to remember. I haven't touched a Final Fantasy game in a while.
Awaken our servant.
Plunge Lance's device through their
Yeah, that's
hearts.
Pandemonium. That's what it is. It's Pandemonium. It's the Emperor's Throne in Final Fantasy 2. It's not an original though. This is an orchestrated piece just for this game.